Welcome to Derry, Episode 4, dropped one of the biggest reveals in the franchise, the true origin of the 13 Pillars and the Dagors, the only weapons ever shown to herd Pennywise. For the first time, the series showed exactly how the Shokopiwah tribe discovered the creature's weakness, forged blades from the fallen star that brought it to Earth, and built the circle that trapped the Galloo inside the western woods for centuries. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're breaking down how this episode finally reveals the moment humanity first fought back. From Tanyel's psychic memories to Nikani's desperate mission, from the creation of the star metal Dagger to the burial of the 13 Pillars, Episode 4 quietly explained why Pennywise can't leave Derry and why these ancient weapons are the only things it fears. Let's dive in.
And they buried 13 sacred shards, deep.
The truth hidden beneath Derry for centuries. Welcome to Derry's 4th and 5th episodes finally confirmed something the movies only hinted at and the novel only vaguely described. Pennywise is not freely roaming the town because he wants to, but because he is trapped, surrounded, and restrained by a supernatural cage older than the United States itself. For the first time on screen, we learn about the creation of the 13 Pillars and the forging of the Dagor, the only weapon capable of wounding and possibly killing Pennywise. The series doesn't just expand Stephen King's mythology, it reframes the entire history of Derry, revealing that long before the Losers Club, long before any settlers arrived, there was already a war between humanity and the alien entity known as the Galloo. This knowledge comes from Tanyel's memories, forcibly accessed by Dick Halloran when the military decides the indigenous population knew more about the entity than any modern scientist. Through Tanyel's childhood recollections of his Aunt Rose telling him the old stories, the show takes us centuries into the past. It shows us that Derry was born on a battlefield, one where a cosmic monster fell to Earth, a tribe fought back, and children played a crucial role in trapping the creature that would one day call itself Pennywise.
The Galloo feared, to keep our people safe again.
The falling star that brought the Galloo. According to Tanyel's ancestral memory, the story begins millions of years ago when a burning object hurtled through the sky and crashed into what would eventually become the western woods. The Shokopiwah tribe believed it was a star. They saw the crater, the strange glowing material scattered across the ground, and the unnatural darkness creeping outward. But the star was not simply a celestial rock. It was a vessel, a cosmic prison that held the entity inside it. When the star cracked open, the thing within escaped. The tribe did not see a clown or any human form. They witnessed something closer to a swirling mass of deadlights, an alien being of hunger and fear that took shapes their minds could barely comprehend. It stalked the forest, took forms that mocked their beliefs, and fed on anyone unlucky enough to wander into its territory. They called it the Galloo, an ancient word meaning a devourer, a hunter, a monster that feeds on terror itself. The tribe soon realized that the same star that delivered the creature was also the key to stopping it. The pieces of the fallen star pulsed with a strange energy that disrupted the Galloo's abilities. Even when held in human hands, the shards could weaken the monster's illusions, distort its forms, and force it to retreat. This understanding would eventually lead to the creation of the first weapon ever crafted to fight the creature.
It was made from, still held power.
The forging of the Dagor. Tanyel's memory reveals that the tribe's elders took the largest surviving shard and crafted a ceremonial blade from it. This blade became the first Dagor. Unlike any natural metal, the star material resisted heat, glowed faintly, and hummed with cosmic energy. The Shokopiwah shaped it carefully, embedding protective rituals into its handle and forging it with the understanding that this weapon could wound the Galloo where nothing else could. When warriors carried the dagger into the western woods, they found that the creature reacted with fear for the first time. The Dagor caused the Galloo's forms to glitch,
its illusions to collapse, and its deadlights to flicker in distress. Though the blade did not kill the entity outright, it proved that the creature was not invincible. It could be harmed, it could be weakened, and if the tribe could not destroy it, then at the very least, they could contain it.
This realization changed everything. The tribe shifted from survival to strategy, attempting to create more than just a weapon. They aimed to build a prison.
Longer protect all the villages. To save our people, the decision.
Nekani's journey and the birth of the 13 Pillars. This part of the story is where the show provides its most emotional and tragic revelation. When settlers arrived in the region, the Shokopiwah warned them to avoid the western woods, but their warnings went ignored. The settlers hunted animals in the forbidden area, and the Galloo hunted the settlers in return. With each kill, Pennywise grew stronger, bolder, and more willing to push past the boundaries of the trees. A group of Shokopiwah warriors attempted to enter the woods to rescue children who had wandered too close, including a young girl named Nekani. The entity confronted them in horrific forms, at one point appearing as a twisted moose, later as a priest with a grotesque infant growing from his stomach. It slaughtered most of the warriors, including Sesqui, Nekani's mother. The loss devastated the tribe, and they prepared to permanently leave the region, but Nekani refused to abandon her home. She believed the tribe had not fully used the power of the fallen star. With her friends, she returned to the crater and collected 13 smaller shards. Her idea was bold and unprecedented. She would bury each shard at a precise location, forming a circle around the western woods. If a single dagger could wound the Galloo, then 13 star fragments could restrict it, pinning it inside a supernatural boundary. These buried shards became the 13 Pillars. The tribe lit fires atop each burial site. These were not ritual flames, but markers, visual reminders that something powerful and dangerous lay beneath, shaping a boundary that must never be broken. The circle became a prison, one built by children, guarded by generations, and strong enough to cage a cosmic monster.
Settlers arrived. We warned them of the danger in the way.
How the 13 Pillars trap Pennywise. The show makes it clear that the Pillars do not rely on faith or belief. They operate on cosmic rules deeper than magic. The star fragments carry a frequency that the Galloo recognizes instinctively because they once held him captive in space. When arranged in a circle, the fragments generate a boundary field similar to the star's original prison. The creature cannot cross this boundary without risking being pulled into a weakened physical state or possibly destroyed. That is why the Galloo was forced to remain within the western woods for centuries, and why Pennywise later remains confined to Derry's limits. The 13 Pillars form a supernatural cage that holds the monster in place. The native people who lived outside the circle remained safe, while everything inside the woods became the entity's feeding ground. Over the years, the fires vanished, the tribe moved on, and settlers unknowingly built the town of Derry on top of this cosmic containment field. The Pillars were buried under soil, concrete, and eventually the sewer tunnels beneath Neibolt Street.
Our people from the monster, which we named the Galloo.
Episode 4 and 5, The Secrets Finally Exposed. In Episode 4, the U.S. military's obsession with finding a Cold War weapon leads them to kidnap Taniel, believing the indigenous tribes held something capable of defeating an enemy. When Dick Halloran uses his shine to probe Taniel's mind, he accidentally unlocks the entire history of the Galloo, the Star, and the 13 Pillars. For the first time in decades, the location of the Pillars is revealed. They lie within the tunnels beneath the Neibolt house, exactly where the creature sleeps between feeding cycles. The Dagor appears again in Episode 5, when Rose gives it to Taniel. Later in the episode, Taniel drops it in the sewer during the military's disastrous expedition. Pennywise corners Lily, coming at her with rows of teeth and shifting forms, including the twisted remains of her dead father. But the moment it reaches the water where the Dagor fell, Pennywise freezes. The star fragment embedded in the blade creates an invisible barrier Pennywise physically cannot cross. This is the first on-screen confirmation in the franchise that Pennywise has a real, tangible weakness, one that terrifies him more than bravery, rituals, or belief. When Lily picks up the dagger, the entity withdraws instantly, its illusions collapsing as it retreats deeper into the sewer tunnels. The weapon has found its rightful wielder. Why the dagger can kill Pennywise? The dagger is more than a tool. It is a piece of the monster's original prison, shaped into a blade sharp enough to pierce its essence. Pennywise's true form, the Deadlights, is not physical, but the star material interacts directly with its cosmic energy. If someone brave enough were to strike the entity at the right moment, the blade could destabilize the Deadlights, sever its connection to the physical plane, and end its existence. The show implies that the final battle will not be about belief, but about wielding the ancient weapon and using the pillars to weaken Pennywise enough for the dagger to finish the job.
Daughter!
The future of the dagger and the kids of Derry. With Lily now holding the dagger and the pillars revealed beneath the town, the series has set up a completely new way for the children of Derry to fight back, connecting ancient indigenous knowledge with the modern horror story. Pennywise is terrified, not because he's facing ordinary kids, but because these kids now possess the one thing that can kill him.
The only thing the Galloo feared, to keep our people safe again.
Our nerdy thoughts. And that's the full story behind the 13 pillars and the daggers, the ancient weapons forged from a fallen star, the circle that trapped Pennywise for centuries, and the one weakness the creature can't hide from. It, Welcome to Derry, finally connected all the dots, showing that long before the Losers Club ever stood up to the Galloo, the Shokopiwah tribe had already fought the first great battle. If the show is heading where it seems, these star-forged weapons and the kids who now carry them might be the key to ending Pennywise in a way we've never seen before. However the final fight plays out, we now know one thing for sure. Even ancient cosmic monsters can bleed. If you enjoyed diving into this hidden lore, make sure to like the video, drop your theories in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns. Spoiler Master signing off. See you in the next one.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.